Have you ever felt like you were meant for something more? Like the life you're living now is just a shadow of the one you could have built, if only you had the courage to begin. This isn't just another motivational speech. This is a wake-up call. Because if you keep playing it safe, you won't just lose time, you'll lose yourself. What you're about to hear will change the way you see life forever. You know, life isn't simple, and it's certainly not easy. We're all thrown into this world without a rule book, no clear direction, just a burning desire to figure it out before it's too late. But here's the hard truth. Most people don't figure it out. Most people never wake up. They drift. They obey. They numb themselves with distractions until one day they realize they never really lived. And that should terrify you. You see, every day you avoid responsibility, every time you shrink from discomfort, you trade the future for a fleeting moment of ease. But ease isn't freedom. It's a slow death. People say, just be happy. Don't stress. Do what feels good. Well, here's what I say. That's a lie. A seductive one. Because real meaning, real depth, comes from carrying a load. You must pick up something heavy, voluntarily, and then you carry it. Day after day, not because it's easy, but because that's what transforms you. You might ask, but why me? And I'd ask you, why not you? Do you want to be weak? Do you want to be forgettable? Do you want to live a life where no one remembers your name when you're gone? Because that's what's at stake here. This is not a game. This is your soul we're talking about. Look, you're going to suffer in life no matter what. You'll suffer if you aim high, because it's hard. And you'll suffer if you stay low, because it's empty. But one form of suffering gives you dignity. The other steals it. So ask yourself, what kind of suffering are you willing to endure? You were not made to be passive. You were not made to be comfortable. You were made to grow, to struggle, to rise. You were made to confront the chaos of life and bring order to it. That's your role. That's your sacred responsibility. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. Start where you are. Pick up the heaviest thing you can carry and walk forward. The world is waiting for you to rise. Let me tell you something about potential. It's not a promise. It's a burden. People often say, you have so much potential, as if that's enough. But it's not. Potential is unlived life. It's everything you could be, but haven't become. And that should disturb you. Because the pain of untapped potential is worse than failure. At least, failure means you tried. At least, failure means you stepped into the arena. But potential, it just sits there, waiting, watching you, like a shadow you can't outrun. So ask yourself, what is inside of you that you're afraid to awaken? What part of you are you keeping locked away because you're scared of how powerful it might be? You don't get to pretend that your life doesn't matter. You don't get to hide behind comfort and say it's fine, because it's not fine. And deep down, you know it. There's a part of you that knows you were made for more. Not in some ego-driven sense, but in the sense that there is something essential you have to give. And if you don't give it, the world suffers. Not just you. You're not just an individual. You're a ripple in the human story. And every action you take, or avoid, echoes through generations. This isn't just about self-help. It's about responsibility. It's about the sacred burden of becoming who you could be for the sake of others. You're not here to impress people. You're not here to chase dopamine. You're here to carry the torch of consciousness through the darkness of existence. That's not philosophy. That's reality. Now, here's the part people miss. To become who you're meant to be, you have to let parts of yourself die. The lazy part, the cowardly part, the envious, bitter, resentful part. You've got to look in the mirror and ask, what needs to go so I can grow? It will hurt. Of course it will. But growth is always preceded by loss. You want transformation? Then something old has to be burned away. That's the price. But let me tell you something. When you pay that price, when you sacrifice who you were for who you could be, you become dangerous. Dangerous to the lies. Dangerous to the systems that want to keep you small. Dangerous to the part of you that's afraid of your own greatness. And in that danger, there's freedom. Because now, you're not just alive, you're awake. So now you're awake, that's good, but it's not enough. Awareness is the beginning of responsibility, not the end. Because the moment you wake up, the world looks different. More intense, more chaotic, more demanding. You start seeing suffering more clearly. You feel the weight of your choices. You recognize the consequences of inaction. That's when many people retreat. They say, it's too much. I didn't ask for this. I just want peace. But that kind of peace is cowardice in disguise. Let me be very clear. You don't get to choose whether life is hard. You only get to choose why it's hard. Will it be hard because you're building something meaningful? Or hard because you're running from the life you were meant to live? Both roads are painful, but only one leads to strength. You see, meaning is not found in comfort. Meaning is found where responsibility meets suffering. Think about that. Responsibility and suffering. It doesn't sound appealing, but it's the foundation of every great life. If you avoid the burden, you avoid the transformation. If you avoid the pain, you avoid the growth. You want to be respected, admired, even remembered? Then carry something worth carrying and carry it well. Your discipline will define you, not your talents, not your feelings. Discipline, because when things fall apart, and they will, your feelings won't save you. Only your principles will. What is your code? What is your standard? What do you stand on when the storms come? You don't rise by accident. You rise because you choose to rise again and again and again. Every morning, you look in the mirror and you say, today I carry my load. Today I move forward no matter what. You may fall, but you do not stay down. Because staying down is a betrayal of everyone who believes in you, and even worse, a betrayal of who you could become. Remember this, strength is forged in the fire of repetition. Character is revealed under pressure. Legacy is built in silence, while no one's watching. So don't chase applause, chase excellence, chase truth, chase what's real. And if you stay on that path long enough and honestly enough, you will become something terrifying, not to others, but to the part of you that doubts your worth. And that is where your real power begins. Let's go deeper now. You've faced the storm. You've started to carry your burden. But here's what most people don't understand. The more responsibility you accept, the more meaning your life gains. but also the more chaos you invite. Responsibility is not a shield against pain, it's a confrontation with it. You want to build a strong mind, a strong spirit? Then you need to walk into the fire, not around it. Stop searching for the easy way. There is no easy way. And if there is, it's a trap. Growth demands sacrifice. It demands discomfort. It demands that you abandon who you used to be to create something stronger. Now here's where people get stuck. They start the journey, but they don't finish. They fall in love with the idea of progress, but not the discipline required to complete it. Do not confuse motion with meaning. Busy doesn't equal productive. Exhausted doesn't equal effective. Ask yourself, what am I actually building? Is this leading me somewhere worthy, or am I just distracting myself from the real work? You need a vision, a high aim, something worth suffering for. Because without a clear target, you'll be consumed by the world's noise. And the world is very noisy. It will tell you, play it safe, fit in, don't stand out, stay small. But the people we remember, the ones who changed things, they stood up. They stood alone. They endured ridicule. And they kept walking. Why? Because their why was stronger than the world's noise. Do you have that kind of clarity? If not, then that's your next step. Define your vision. What kind of man, what kind of woman do you want to become? Describe it. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it shape your actions every single day. Because your habits, they're building your destiny right now, whether you're conscious of it or not. Every morning you hit snooze, every time you scroll instead of build, every time you numb instead of face, you're casting a vote for who you'll become. And listen, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but you do have to be intentional. Because purpose is built on clarity plus action. Without clarity, you drift. Without action, you stagnate. But with both, you rise. So now, we're here, at the edge of everything you could become. The question is, will you step forward or stay where it's safe? Because here's the truth. The greatest danger in life isn't failure, it's comfort. You can drown in comfort. You can forget who you are in comfort. You can die in comfort, long before your heart stops beating. And no one will even notice. That's what should terrify you. Not the challenge, not the risk, but the slow decay of your spirit when you choose to stay small. There's a fire in you. You can feel it. You've always felt it, even when you tried to numb it, even when the world told you to shut it down. It never left. That's your soul, trying to speak. And now, it's time to listen. You weren't made to just survive. You were made to build. You were made to speak truth. You were made to create order from chaos. You were made to leave something behind that echoes after you're gone. Not because of ego, but because of honor. Honor for the gift of consciousness. Honor for the people who believed in you. Honor for the ones who never got the chance you have right now. So don't waste it. Every breath, every decision, every small act of courage adds to the legacy you're building. Legacy is not some grand thing that appears one day. It's the sum of thousands of quiet, painful, noble choices. You want to change your life? Then start today. Right now. Be honest, be disciplined, be dangerous, not in violence, but in integrity, in truth, in unstoppable perseverance. Let the world feel your presence. Let your children, or the people who follow you, inherit courage because of your example. That's how you change the world, not through rage, but through responsibility. You don't need the world to approve of you. You just need to show up every day and do the thing you know is right. When you feel like quitting, don't. When no one's watching, build anyway. When your voice shakes, speak anyway. And when your time comes, and it will come, you'll be able to say, I didn't hide, I didn't run, I lived with meaning. I carried the weight, I answered the call. And that is a life worth living.